Okay, this is a little video for people who have got Nissan cars with the NATS. Well, I'm guessing this is the NATS2 system on it. Now, I've been doing some searching on the internet and there are people complaining about this Nissan anti-tamper system for years. Both the NATS1, the NATS2, and I think it goes all the way up to NATS5 by now, maybe even higher. But for several months I've been having issues with this Nissan Serena. It's a 2000 Serena, and it's been temperamentally not starting up. Now, I had two keys, and well, recently I've done a repair on this old key here, in that I've put a new casing on it and some new press buttons soldered in, which were on eBay for about £6. So I've repaired the locking facility on this, which never used to work. In fact, it's not working now because that door's open over there, but anyway, it does work now. Now, I've been having issues, it wouldn't start up. Sometimes I would travel for about 5 miles, I'd park up somewhere, go do some shopping. When I come back into the car, it wouldn't go. Then I'd sit there for 5 minutes, try it again, and it would start. Really odd sort of problems. Now, I thought it's something to do with the anti-tamper system, you know, anti-theft system, I suppose I should call it. So I've been thinking, well, what the hell's wrong? You know, it seems like a dry joint somewhere, or wire breaking down, so being so temperamental. But why, when I've not moved anywhere and just sat there for 5 minutes and then try again, it works? So it's sort of like, well, a capacitor maybe discharging or something resetting over some time. Just hard to work out what the problem is. Now, on the old NATS1 system, they basically had 8 wires, and there's a combination of wires which you basically can cut the NATS module out and wire these wires together. Now, I'll put a little picture up to show you what that is. But what I have on this vehicle is a NATS2. Now, the NATS2 module on the Nissan Serena sits down under here, behind the glove box. You take the glove box off by pulling 2 little plastic push-in tabs which go in these locating holes here. You pull them out, they've got little handles on them. Yank them out and the glove box wobbles from side to side and comes out in your hand. Then you find this little bugger here. Now, this is on a diesel Nissan Serena, but yeah, I wouldn't like to say about on petrol versions, because they're going to immobilize in a different way. They're going to mess around with all sorts of things, your sparks and so on your ignition coil, or whatever you may have, electronic ignition. So with a diesel, from what I can gather, you turn off the solenoid which is on the fuel pump in some sort of way. There might be some other gadget which I'm not aware of. Anyway, this wire here which is snipped, I will come to that in a minute. But basically this is your anti-tamper unit. Now, I have been led to believe that it combines with the solenoid Yeah, I'll call it solenoid. Just one moment, I'll put the camera down. A dirty gravelly floor there, you get a nice close up of it while I'm doing this. Right, okay, here's my 2.3 diesel engine, a little oily. Here is our fuel pump or injector pump and so on, and now down here, if you can see it, this I'm guessing is possibly the fuel cut-off solenoid. Now I came in here several days ago and I thought, right, it could be that I've got to put a switch that runs permanently to the injector solenoid to switch 12 volts to it whenever I want to start, so that if it's that wire which is not supplying 12 volts due to the anti-theft system disallowing it. And I thought, wow, okay, so that'd be the case. Anyway, I pulled this little rubber cover off, and the yellow wire which is connected to the end of this solenoid to supply 12 volts came away in my hand. It was only held inside this rubber cover by this knot which you see just here. See that knot? Okay, so that knot there was holding the wire in the rubber cover, so I thought, wow, I found the fault. 3p to do a repair. Anyway, so I put a new lug on it, re-terminated it, and then thought, yeah, yippee, all sorted. Nice, simple fix. Anyway, then a few days went by, I came to try the car again, and what do you know, didn't start. So I realised that isn't the problem. So the way I've been finding that the car works is by unplugging the little German-made NATS2 box which I was showing you a minute ago. Now I'm going to go back round to that now. So this little NATS2 box here, now if I can just let's see if I can set the camera up. Right, basically we have this module here, cont unit immobilizer, yeah, Siemens, and it says there for diesel, yeah, it's for a diesel. Now basically to unplug this, there's a little tab that you push on the back here, between these blue wires and the green wires here. So you push that in, and I'll do it with my nail, and it unplugs. So you're given that. Now I will show you something in here. Now I'm just going to pop this open with my key by twisting that in there, and as long as I'm careful, because there's a circuit board in here, right, and then we'll slide this apart. So you'll see this wire in here, that's something I've been playing with. Now it's not just a relay inside this thing, this is some complex circuitry in here. Now if you unplug this immobilizer, you can still operate the locks on the vehicle. I can't do it at the moment because it doesn't seem to want to know when the doors are open. It doesn't it doesn't lock or try to lock. So Anyway, what we basically have is we have 12 wires which come into this module. 12 wires on this plug. Now up here at the back here, this green wire which I've cut is the permanent 12 volt feed. So I basically got to thinking, what am I doing when I unplug this? I'm basically resetting the module. So in layman's point of view, what I'm thinking I was doing is just taking the power supply off it, which was the permanent 12 volts feed to it. Now unplugging this and plugging it back in again every time you want to restart the car would become a bit monotonous. Also, the connector would eventually start breaking. So as I say, the green wire on the corner is permanent 12 volt feed. Now the next wire that's to it, which has got a lot of white in it, I think it's white and it's white and green. Okay, so you got green permanent 12 volt, then you got white and green, which is ignition 12 volts. So basically when you put the key in the ignition, it only supplies you 12 volts then. So I think you're getting where I'm coming from now. So what I've simply done is I've got a bit of wire and I've soldered it between the two tags there. So I've connected the permanent 12 volt wire to the board to the ignition 12 volts. So that basically means by cutting the green on the permanent 12, it means that each time I disconnect the supply by turning the ignition off and then restarting it, I'm resetting the module. So I've basically got round the problem where I have to keep coming and unplugging this module. And I've just been testing it a few times and it seems to be working. Now, to know whether this has fixed it for pretty much permanently or whether it's just a temporary fix until it works out another way to throw a spanner in life and cock up my daily car usage, I don't know. So the reason I've left this wire on here is so that while I was soldering it on, I had something to hold. Now I intend to just snip this wire off, but as long as this wire doesn't come into contact with the rest of the board, there shouldn't be a problem. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of insulation tape over the end of this, and I'm going to put some insulation tape over the ends of these two green wires up here at the back, and I'm going to stick this thing back up under here. A matter of interest, when you come to pull this module out, it should slide off. It's just a very solid fixing. See, what I did in the end, I couldn't get the thing to move and I just pulled it and snapped off the opposite side to this piece here. See, I snapped it off because I couldn't pull the unit off a little metal tag which is on a piece of round piping up under there. Anyway, it will slide off that way. It just has this little raised lump which fits into a hole on the tag that it clips on, and it makes it hard for it to shake off. Anyway, so what I'm doing now is I've put some of these lightweight releasable cable ties on, and basically I'm strapping it back up with that while I'm messing around with this repair. So there we are. So if anyone else wants to try this, I'll be putting some updates on the video in terms of maybe some text across or just comments below it, but at the moment I'm hoping this is a reasonably good cure for my problem. Anyone who's gone looking for a fix for the NATS system will probably come across this site, automotiveforums.com. Now here there's a conversation about NATS on a 95 Primera immobilizer bypass, and if you come down here there's a guy with a 95 Nissan Primera, and he's asking how to bypass the NATS system because it's just giving him jip. Anyway, when you read along this, there's a guy called Nissan Tech that's on here, and he basically gives a lot of advice. He seems to be quite an informative guy, and he talks about the buttons and so on the key fob, about reprogramming and all this business. Now if you eventually come down here, he has this little quote: if you've got NATS1 system, you basically get in, you find your NATS module, which only had 8 wires on the old NATS1, and it's behind the glove box, and you disconnect and link the following wires. So wires 1 and 2 get wired together, and 5 and 6 wired together, and 7, 8, and leave 3 and 4 off. And it says you should now have disconnected your Nissan anti-theft. Now that's only on the NATS1, and now he's not given a picture on here so that you know which is wire 1 through to 8. So I don't know, there's no picture of the plug, so it's questionable exactly how you're going to know which is wire 1 and which is wire 2. Anyway, I'm not going into that. Yeah, so basically this started off where first posting in 2002, the 25th of the 3rd, 2002. In fact, yeah, that was when the original question went out. Now this thread here has been running since 2002. See, it's got postings going on and on. People keep going on here and asking how to fix this problem. 2007, 2008, and it's all people having the same problems. 2009, 2010, let's see, 20th of the 1st, 2012 was the last posting on here, and basically the answer that was coming back on it seemed to be take it to the dealer, mate, because it's too big a problem to fix. Anyway, I did some other searching around on the web, and you find, if you do picture searches for Nissan NATS2, or you're basically doing searches, you'll find a PDF document that's been written by Scorpiolk or whatever it is at gmail.com. Now he basically makes a little module for programming your car NATS and immobilizer system and all this. It appears to be, he gives a circuit diagram. The Omega NATS2 version 1, see, a module for programmer Omega allows work with the immobilizer for the Nissan NATS2 using processors, Motorola, blah 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 blah. Anyway, so I went looking on here, and this gave me the information which I was looking for. See, it's basically there's the NATS sort of similar NATS looking module, and here he gave a diagram telling me what these two pins were, and as I said, one is 12 volts to the battery permanent and the other one is 12 volt ignition. So you see where I got the idea from. The rest of these wires here are not applicable for me to worry about. All I wanted was something to do a reset each time I turn the ignition on and off. So that's the unit there, cable tied up and out the way, with my two little wires taped back. So just as a bit of proof, and this beeps, which it starts off with. Right, the turn Braveheart off. Right, there we go. Starts up. Off. On. Now it wouldn't have done this several days ago, no chance, it just would not start up at all. It was like this for a few days, would not kick over. And it does now. You see, the only way I could get it down to my friend's garage was by eventually unplugging the NATS module and then plugging it back in again, thus resetting the unit, that little black immobilizer unit. Once more. See, I may be lucky with this now. Just to prove that the door's locked. Right, and here we go. Locked. Unlocked. All functioning. So if you've got the same problem as I had, now you know what to do. You can bridge those two wires together inside the unit, as I've chosen to do, where it looks neater. Or you could just strip the insulation off on the white wire, which is next to the green. Sorry, the green and white wire, which is next to the green, and connect the stub coming from the plug stub wire. You could strip the insulation on the green and white and wire that on the outer side of the case, so you don't have to go in the case.